Hi, everyone. I'm sorry for the mishap. Something was going on with the audio, so I had to redo it again so that we can be able to do the class. Um, I'm hoping um, to send at least the link. I'd like to send, okay, share. I'm going to share it to Facebook, to um, not that. Oh, really? This is not my idea of a good time. Send it to. Can't. I'm going to send it that way. Um, okay, and I'm going to try again and share it somewhere else because it's having its troubles today. Because life is difficult and that's all right. Okay, I am going to do it public, and that's good. And share it with acquaintances, work friends. Wait a minute, how did I do it before? Friends, timelines, groups. Let's go again. Right. Hopefully, this will all go where it needs to be. It's back underneath. Um, it's back. Okay, it's back underneath. Well, I have sent everything out that I could possibly send out, and hopefully this class can get started. I'm so sorry for everything. But it's been a really hectic day. So hopefully I'm more organized now that I've got that all straightened out. But what we're going to do, I want to welcome you first to Terra 101. What is this? Oh, goodness gracious. Okay, I guess I am having an issue with YouTube. So hold on for a moment. Okay, why is this being like this? I am hearing a voice from somewhere else. I'm not sure where that's coming from. Um, but it's not from me. So if there is somebody else experiencing something, please shut it off. Um, okay, I don't know what's going on, but that's okay. I'm just going to go with it for now. Okay. I do a special thing that needs to be done every time I do a tarot reading or before I do a tarot reading. And the first thing that I do is I smudge. I am hearing somebody else, and this is absolutely annoying. I don't know where the noise is coming from. Uh, I have figured it out. So I'm hoping this will be good. I'm going to go ahead though and um, okay, and go ahead and I'm going to go ahead and share. Copy the link. Okay, I am going to share it. Um, in this. Oh, wow, I am having such a hard time today. Share it. Going to Facebook. Going to, okay, cancel. Going to, um, nope, not people. Next. I want to go to a group. I want to go here. I want to share there. Okay, whoops, not what I want. I'm going to do some sharing because obviously it's becoming quite an issue, getting things shared. Um, so that everyone is able to um, it'll be no news feed share. Um, I'm also going to try to share in Facebook Messenger to Lindsay. Send, share, Messenger, send. I am hoping now that it's finally where it needs to go because I'm having such a hard time getting things where they need to be. I should have tested this out way ahead of time, but time was limited. And like I was saying, I need to go and grab myself a lighter. Okay? And I'll be right back. I'm wearing comfy clothes today. Lounge clothes. But yes, okay. Like I said, welcome to 101, Tarot 101. and this is the second class. And for some people who had missed the class last week, I'm going to do a little bit of review on the cards that we talked about and how we read the cards. And I thought I would get a little bit into the fact that how we go ahead and clear our cards and all that. And first of all, I'm going to show you what I do first. I light a sage bundle. I sell them in my store on WindDancer-Treasures. .com, but I light the sage and I get it going and then blow it out, and then I go ahead and I whisk it over myself. Okay, and I can give you guys just a little bit for you. And clear our aura, clear everything out, and going ahead and putting it out. Sometimes when the bundle refuses to go out, it is said to be because there are more clearing to do. Since I'm just teaching today and not doing a reading, I would take the smudge to clear my cards before readings. I'd run it through the smoke, back and forth through the smoke, a couple times each card. And that can take a long time, seeing there's 78 cards in a deck, but it's well worth it. And then what I like to do is I like to take a Palo Santo stick. I like lighting that as well. And you do the same thing as you would a sage bundle. Okay. Gotta get it good and hot. Okay, it's lit. I love the smell of this. I'm going to give you guys some too. And it is said that Palo Santos helps bring in spirit. It calls in all positive input from spirit. So you do the same thing as you would do with your sage bundle. I went over my cards with the Palo Santos because I like fanning them out and putting it over so that spirit can give positive energy towards the cards as well. Then I have an oil, and I usually take my oil and what I do is I put it on my wrist. I take a small bit, put it on my third eye for what I know. I put it on my wrist for what I do, and on my ankles for where I go. And then I will take a little more. I like the smell anyway. It's Tantra. You can get that at Sage Goddess. I put it on my ear so that I might hear better. And I put it on my heart so that I do my reading with heart. And I always have stones. I always have stones on my table when I do a reading. Sometimes I have a rose quartz point. This one is a small one. This one I can take with me anywhere I want to go. It's just a point. This is fluorite. Apache's tear, and kyanite, black kyanite. This is the one stone that never has to be cleared. I like the stone, and it's for that reason alone. So this is why I always put on the tops, you know, on top of the table where I'm doing my readings. Okay, we've gotten through that first piece, which is good. And then I want to tell you, this bag is what I put my cards in. And in with it, I always put my stones. It protects them from outside influences that may happen or it might be in contact with, so that it will stay cleared. I always pre-shuffle. I shuffle before I put it in. I knock on them. What I do is I take it and I knock in order to clear the deck of the reading prior. And then I will store it in my bag. I have already anointed my cards by putting oil on my hands that I use the Tantra, and then I use it and shuffle my deck. And then it has the scent on it, which reminds me of spirit. So it helps with connecting and putting you in the mindset for doing a reading. So, all right. I am going to go ahead and turn it around so you can see my table. Hold on. Okay. Hopefully you'll be able to see my table without issue. And I'm going to move some of the stuff out of the way. Okay. The two cards okay. When we look for cards, okay, we must find a deck that appeals to our eye and easily speaks to us when we look at it. It is so important to choose and choose the card deck wisely. The first time I ever did tarot, I was about, I'm going to find some cards for you. I was about 11 years old. I had an aunt who brought a deck into my house and was playing with it with my mother. And I got a hold of the deck and I did the deck. And I found out that when I did the reading that I could actually understand the deck. And in doing so, I was able to foretell my mother's early death. I didn't know when, but I knew it was going to be while she was young. And when she was 33 years old, 3 days before she was to turn for the situation that happened. So sometimes when you read the cards, you end up gaining insight to some things that you know, it's preparation. You become more prepared. The key terms for the cards, the higher arcana, are the Roman numeral part of the deck, and the minor arcana are the ones with the suits, to include the knight, the page, the queen, and the king. The court is a person who is asking the questions of the reader. The reader is you. I don't do reversals, but I do use the reversals as as a no, Lord, my cards are driving, everything's driving me crazy. I'm so sorry. Um, all right. There are different kinds of spreads that we can do, which are diagram, a layout, and the cards, and the placement meanings. There's the Celtic Cross, 3-card spread, which is past, present, future. 4-card spread, you, unknown, known, and action. The suit meanings. Wands are about will, passion, drive, career, projects. Goals and desires. Cups are emotion, relationships, creativity, imagination, family and friends. Creativity, imagination, family and friends. Swords are about intellect, thoughts, communication, truth, problems, and solutions. Trying to find pentacles for you. They are evading me. Okay. And pentacles are about the physical world, resources and money, material life and work, health and body. The elements of the cards, as we had talked about before, wands are fire, cups are water, swords are air, and the King of Pentacles is earth. The astrological signs, wands are Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius. Cups are Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces. Swords are Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius. Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn are the pentacles. The gender of the suits is wands and swords are male, while cups and pentacles are feminine. Each number of the deck, from 1 to 10, all have their numerology correspondence. So 1 is about the individual self. 2 is balance, partnership. 3, communication and creation, consciousness, and choices. 4 is order. 3 is communications, creations, results, productivity, and abundance. 4 is order, construction. 5 is action, life experience, change. 6 is home and family, adjustments, comfort, nurturing. 7 is thought, consciousness, spirit, motive, inner work. 8 is power, achievement, abundance, actions, movements, outer work. 9 is end of cycles. 10 is finality or end, exhaustion or excess. Like I showed before, I have several kinds of decks. There are round decks. There are other decks if you find more attuned to. There are Celtic decks and angels and all those other decks. And I'm just more prone to anything that is more Celtic or Native American. And of course, the regular deck called, you know, the Rider Right deck. The major arcana, the ones that I had mentioned before with the Roman numerals, which is the higher piece, which is the story of life. When it talks about the fool and his journey through life and what it is that we get to learn and do. It also represents life events, milestones and turning points, either spiritual life-changing events or experiences out of the control of the querent. So these here are the things that will just happen. They are going to happen whether you want them to or not. That is what the major arcana is about. So we're going to talk about the Fool, okay? And like I had said before, when we look at the Fool, we see a young man, okay, ready to go out on his own. And he's not paying attention. He's looking up. He's got his flower in his hand. The sun is shining. He has no worry in the world. But some people might consider him being a little bit careless. His white little dog, which is a piece of enlightenment, is trying to distract him from going off the cliff. The purples and the greens within the picture say that he is spiritually in tuned and adventurous with the oranges and the green and the pink. He is just ready to go out and meet the world any way he can. But when and if the card were be in reverse, we're looking at somebody who is careless, reckless, and irresponsible. So when I do a reading, instead of stating this as a careless or reckless or irresponsible individual, I say this, you know, there's some youth that, or you're experiencing some really carefree moments, and all I want to do is advise you to take note of what you're doing, where you're going. That's how you present this card. The reason why I don't do reverses is because people get used to seeing it in reverse and automatically assume that this is going to be a bad reading. They think reverse means bad. So if I never turn the card into the reverse, if I never have them in reverse in my deck, then they don't get the impression. But if I see is it might be a warning, I use it then. And I will tell them, we need to be a little bit careful in the decisions you make. So we do that instead. And then I have the Magician. We can see the white that he is wearing, and he's talented, and he's magical, and there's action to him. And as you can see, his hand points up as above and so below. If you know anything about magic or witchcraft or Wicca, this is how I see it. If you notice, all of the elements are there, so he's able to control all the elements. So in the upright position, the magician has feelings, it's magic, power, skill, talent, communication, access. But in reverse, it's trickery, a con, a liar, manipulator. Can you see why I don't like doing it in reverse? It can be very, very intimidating to the person who is actually receiving this card. So what I would do is, if it is next to them as part of the question and it covers them, or is the end product in the Celtic cross, I would say, well, this person has talent and is very clever. I would keep my eye on them to ensure that they are not tricking you or lying to you or trying to deceive you in any way. That's how I would present this card, especially if it was over the Quorant card in the Celtic cross, which is the second card laid to the one in the middle. It would be just like if I did this. Okay. And that's what I would say to the person. Okay. Now, with all colors in the decks, you will find that some colors are more prominent. Okay. Like in here, he's got a lot of green. Green is spring things, the ocean, youth, sentimentality, nature, adventure, growth, and health. The violet, it's sunsets, spirituality, communion, grandeur, high ideas, devotion, and peace. That's what I see when I see these cards. Okay. And we look at the magician. The magician has red, which is passion, primal urges, action, pleasure, vibrance, radiance, love, all those things that produce feelings when you see a color. Because truth is, color and pictures produce emotional responses. And that's what we're looking for when we're looking into the intuitive side of reading the tarot deck. All right. The white in his robe and the dog and the sunlight, it is about peace, cleansing, illumination, purity. It's innocence, and it's the highest kind of understanding. It is our connection to the divine. That is what white is all about. So when we start going through the deck of tarot, we will find ourselves going through in such a way that we will start understanding the symbolisms and the color combinations that the writer and the artist. Like I said, I have a book that I will use, which comes with this particular deck. It's called the Classic Companion, and it's I can't pronounce their name. I don't know, but it's their writer-right deck similarity, and it is done by Barbara Moore, and Eugene Smith is the illustrator. And this is the deck right here. This is the one I use. And so the book, I'm trying to show you the book, but I am having such a hard time. As you can see, it'll give a picture, and I'm going to find the Fool. It gives the Fool a picture. The picture's here, and then it has all of the identification of how to look at this, and it even has a little story that they write. But see, I've told you before, reading, doing the book should be avoided, because we become too accustomed to memorizing the story that the artist and the writer of the book wants us to see. But that takes away the intuition part, the part of us that helps us look and read the cards as we see it. So when we had the Fool, okay, oh, let's see if I can get it so it's not so bright. There he is. In the book, they talk about the symbolisms within the card. And to them, the dog is in the inner voice. It is a distraction. Like I said, for me, he's a distraction. And the sun means joy and optimism. It is, the bag on the stick is lessons, because we know he's young, he's leaving home, he's ready for an adventure. Oh my Lord, I sounded like the Hobbit. I'm ready for an adventure. And okay, and innate abilities, previous lives, lessons, and the feather in his cap. I don't know if you can see it. It's that red feather in his cap. Is passion and heart. The white rose in his hand is purity. The cliff is a leap of faith. And the bright colored clothing is unique, careless, or eccentric nature. Now, I appreciate this book, and I love this book, and I love the story behind it. But if we were to memorize, maybe just the symbolisms that they put, maybe that's okay. But don't go with the keywords that they have put at the top, because it would be beginnings, innocence, freedom, spontaneity, on and on. And then you would have to choose what it means. It could be all of them. It could be none of them. But you have to go with your gut. And they have a little story that goes with the card. It says, the bright sun bathes the scene in joy and optimism. The Fool steps forth with eyes closed. As it following inner guidance, the dog alerts him to the potential danger of the cliff, or perhaps distracts him from his path. While aware, at least on some level, of the danger, the Fool walks in faith, confidently following his dream. Passion guides the head, and purity of the purpose leads the way. The first represents the start of the new journey or phase of life, one that might seem foolish, but also brings a sense of freedom. There is no plan, perhaps not even a clear goal, just an intense drive to take the leap. The small bag indicates that the decision is rather spontaneous. Only what is essential is taken. Everything else is left behind. That is the Fool, and that's their story at this time. This is their idea of all the things that they think this card represents. When I see the card, I see somebody who is doing what they need to do and making a harsh decision to do it, or making a decision that it's time to walk away from something and only take what they need. I see it in many times in relationship difficulties. I will see the Fool, or I will see the Fool when a husband is unfaithful. I have seen it where somebody all of a sudden becomes distracted and jumps into a situation that isn't okay. So I've seen the Fool there in a reading with a bunch of cups, because cups are emotion, and after a while you will learn to see when there are more cups in a reading that this is how it's going. This is about an emotional situation that's happening here and now. And that's why I talked about what wands and pentacles and cups and swords mean in a group, so that we're able to be more in tune to what the reading in an overall. It's not each card individually, it's a story. It starts at the first card. But when you look at all the cards, once it's laid out, a story will begin to emerge. You will start with the person who is asking the question, the querent. Then it will move forward into the situation that's happening with them at this time. And then it will continue to grow from what happened in the past to what's going around and happening now in the future. So this way you have a better idea. My dogs are crazy. Hey, hey, stop, stop. Enough, enough, enough. I'm sorry. But like I said, it's a story. And once you get really good at understanding what each card is individually and how it is within the group, you'll be able to see the story and write the story and speak the story so that they are better understood. Dakota. Okay, we're going to take a look at the Magician. I'm going to grab my handy dandy book. And here's the Magician. Okay, for their symbolism, okay, the red roses, I don't know if you can see the red roses right there, mean passion. The lilies, which are on this side of him, means purity. Okay, the sword, cup, and wands, and the pentacles on the table are the four suits of the tarot. Arms, right arm up, left arm down, means as above, so below. And in Wicca, like a tree, there's above and there's below, and everything in between. So this is what magic is. And Okay. The red and white clothing that he is wearing is passion and purity. The wand in the right hand is will. So he manipulates will. He can manipulate your will. He can manipulate the will of all of the elements. He's a very crafty man. But like I said, there's the reverse, and the upright to this card. And in this book, their upright is will, talent, skill, creativity, manifestation, magic, action, awareness, power. And in the reverse, it's trickery, manipulation, deceit, con, the liar, misuse of gifts. And it's dominated by the astrological sign of Mercury. So it's just like Mercury in retrograde just ended on the 28th of March. And we won't see it again until July. So, which will be good for all of us. I can wait for it to happen again. That's when communication all goes wrong. And it's also with the element of air. Each card also has its astrological as well as elemental. And in this, it talks about the magician as the magician functions under the fundamental belief as above, so below. This means that the higher plane of existence is reflected in the lower plane, using the understanding of the law of the universe as well as any tools and resources at his disposal. He can achieve his goals. Essentially, this is making magic, working with energy to create change in the world. We all can do that. We are all capable of doing that. We are energy. And when I talk, I have another class that I do called the Law of Attraction, which is using the energy that we all have within ourselves, because everything vibrates. Everything vibrates. Our words have action. Our words have an energy. It manifests. So if we live a life where we're constantly upset about one thing or another, that's what we're going to attract to ourselves, is all those things that we constantly talk about. The universe doesn't know whether it's right or wrong or if it's good or bad. It just knows that that's what you keep thinking, so I'm going to give you more, okay? So we'll get into that sometime. Maybe I'll start up a class on that, but after we've done the Tarot 101. And it's in the world, okay? He creates can change the energy in the world. And with the right balance of passion and purity, he can achieve almost anything. He is a dabbler, though. He wields his will with wisdom gained through study and experience. He knows the strongest magic he can ever work is his own transformation. The magician represents having the knowledge, skill, and resources to manifest one's will. With the power comes responsibility. So, what I see, happening with the cards is having our own idea and feelings when we start manipulating the cards, when we start using the cards, when we start putting our own physical energy into the cards by shuffling and shuffling and shuffling. I have also taken this deck and actually slept with each card and tried to understand these cards. I would look at it before I went to sleep, and a lot of times I would get images during my dream states and information about what that card happened to mean to me. And this way, when I did my readings, I was more connected to the card. And I did it with each card within the deck. I just slipped it inside my pillowcase and called it good and went to sleep. I also keep certain stones on my bed as well. I keep one of Tektite on my bed, and I also have a selenite tower that I keep in my room, and an amethyst, so that I have all my all the energies to help bring in more spiritual understanding while I sleep. When I post this video on either my page or in free and paid psychic readings, you can go ahead and leave a questions on there so that I'll be able to see the questions and be able to take it into the next class. We will be doing 2 more of the cards, maybe even more than that, now that I don't have to do the review, and be able to go ahead and make it so that all things are going a little smoother than it did this time. It was kind of confusing for me. Do you want to say hello? Come here. Come. 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 Come and say hi. Come. There. Yes. Say hello. Say hello. And Dakota. She has to say hi. She's spoiled. No, Mommy has nothing. But I would like to be able to have some input, questions, like I said, when I post this, and be able to get it out there. I'm also going to go ahead and post it in WindDancer-Treasures on Facebook. And please share. Please share it on your page if anyone is interested in learning anything about the tarot, so that we can start getting a community going, because I would really like to have a lot more people, in the community. I would like to have some people subscribe to my page, to my YouTube channel, and be able to create an atmosphere where learning can thrive and blossom, and we can go ahead and make more classes so that people are more educated spiritually. I will say that tarot card readers don't believe in the devil. Okay, it's not satanic. I believe any and all messages come from the divine. I don't know who you call the divine, but to me, it's God. God is the number one. He is my all. He is my everything. I am Wiccan, but I still believe in God, and I still believe in Jesus as being one of the most enlightened individual ever, and aspire to be like him. And I do believe in a goddess or a female entity that resides beside God. And that's what happens with me. I do believe, because like the Catholics, Mother Mary is definitely one who is honored. and I grew up as a Catholic, so I cannot let go of the female, goddess idea or entity that is important. So that's who I am. And I have done more than my share of readings. Um, I have dreams that unfortunately come true. I have dreams that uh, I don't know how to put it. There was a crime that was being committed by an individual. I saw that the police were trying to find this person. He was randomly shooting people. People sitting on benches, people walking through parking lots, just shooting random people. And I was able to identify the man as being somebody who was prior military. I also was able to say that the person was with him was a young individual, somebody like a son, stepson, something along that line, and it came out to be absolutely true. So, and I was also, like I said before, I read my mother's cards and knew she would pass away early. But the night before she passed away, I had a dream, and I astral flowed out of my body to her, and I told her that it was okay to go, but she told me she wouldn't die until I came to visit. And at the time, I was very scared to see her. It was not my best piece of things that I wanted to have to deal with. So I went and saw her, and I told everybody my mom's going to die today. She's going to die today. And everyone kept going, oh no, she's holding on. She's still holding on. And I said, no, after I leave, after I visit and I leave, I'd give her about a half hour to an hour, and she'll pass. And it happened. I went and I visited her. I grabbed her hand, whispered in her ear, Mama, everything's going to be fine. Okay, you can go. It will be fine, I promise. Well, I left. I went home to be with my sisters, and sure enough, about an hour after I left, I was there at 9, she died at 10. Yeah, sometimes it's a gift and sometimes it's a burden, but you know something? It's always okay. It's always okay. And I have accepted this gift as it is. I don't expect more and I don't expect less. So I'm grateful for the opportunity to share with you not only my tarot understanding, but a little bit about me. Because I am 58 years old, and when this first started with tarot decks, it wasn't well accepted. Seeing spirit wasn't well accepted. Having dreams that came true was something you didn't talk about. There were just a lot of things that you had to hide. And I was married to somebody who wasn't open to it, and we divorced. And then I was with somebody else, and he passed away, unfortunately. And he really wasn't open to it. I am now married to one of the most wonderful men I have ever met, and he accepts me just as I am. I have never given up my tarot deck my entire life. I still do magic like I did before. It's just, now it's right out in the open. I am not afraid of who I am. I love nature because it's God's creation. And I believe that with my mind alone, I can create anything in my life that I want. And I want everyone to know you can too. So the next time we meet, I'm hoping to have all the glitches taken care of. And it will go smoother, and we'll be able to enjoy more tarot cards, more understanding, and maybe even get into some spreads. So I will see you next Wednesday, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and we will get together and go ahead and start our new adventure into more of the high arcana cards. So until next week, I wish you love, I wish you peace, and I wish you all the blessings in the world. I will see you next